What's going on, CK Nation? It's your boy, the Boss Man CK, and on today's episode of the Full Throttle, we're taking another trip down track history road as we go visit one of the most legendary short tracks in North Carolina. We're headed to one of the most controversial racetracks as well in North Carolina and America, a place where tempers explode, rivalries last generations, and Saturday night short track racing reaches another level. Today, we're headed to beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we're going to a place called the Madhouse. We're going to Bowman Gray Stadium. So, let's do it. All gas, no brakes, full throttle for Kyle, and let's go visit Bowman Gray. Alrighty, so we're here. We're not here, but vision that we're in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. As we visit a track that many people call the Madhouse. Many people love to go on to Saturday nights for open modified NASCAR Whaling Series that races there constantly. From that to late models to everything. So we are at Bowman Gray Stadium. At first glance, Bowman Gray Stadium doesn't look like a racetrack at all. It began life as a football stadium built in 1938 during the Great Depression. The facility was constructed as a public works project and named after businessman Bowman Gray. Today, it remains one of the most unique venues in motorsports. A quarter-mile asphalt oval was wrapped around the football field. What makes this place so special is that racing wasn't even the original purpose for it. Football, concert, boxing matches, and horse races all came first. But in 1949, everything changed. That year, NASCAR founders Bill France Sr. and Alvin Hawkins brought stock car racing to Bowman Gray Stadium. The track quickly became NASCAR's first weekly racing venue and remains NASCAR's longest running weekly racetrack today. From then to now, we still have NASCAR racing, like I mentioned, from the Whaling Open Modified Series to the All-Star race. The Cup Series has run the All-Star race there the past 2 years. Also, something people didn't know is it is the first actual oval track that NASCAR actually raced on. This tiny quarter-mile bull ring would become one of the most influential short tracks in American racing history. When racing began here in 1949, few could have imagined the impact Bowman Gray would have on NASCAR. Drivers like Tim Flock, Fonty Flock, Glenn Wood, Junior Johnson, and the Myers brothers all competed on this tiny oval. Imagine standing right here in the 1950s. NASCAR was still finding its identity, and Bowman Gray was one of the places helping shape the future of stock car racing. Between 1958 and 1971, Bowman Gray hosted NASCAR Grand National races, the series we now know as the NASCAR Cup Series. And, like I said, they still hold Cup racing there today. We have the All-Star race there. And some are trying to push for the All-Star race to go there now. And this track witnessed one of NASCAR's most historic moments. On August 17, 1969, Richard Petty earned his 100th career victory right here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Think about that. The King himself reached a major milestone at a football stadium turned racetrack. And the football stadium is, and the football field is still used at times, because I believe it's Winston-Salem State uses that facility for their football field. Now, let's answer the big question. Why is Bowman Gray called the Madhouse? That answer starts with the track itself. At only 1/4 mile in length, with virtually no banking, passing is difficult and tippers flare quickly. And it does earn the definition, or had earned for the definition of leave your feelings outside because they will get hurt. There's been plenty of races I've seen in the Whelen modifieds and highlights of late models and street stocks that run there where bumpers have been used to move people out the way. And fights have happened because of that. Drivers spin lap after lap, inches apart. One bump can lead to retaliation. One disagreement can become a season-long feud. Fans just don't come for the racing. They come for the drama. Over the decades, Bowman Gray has become famous for heated rivalries, controversial finishes, and post-race confrontations. Many racing fans consider Bowman Gray the closest thing motorsports has to professional wrestling, with the real race cars and real consequences. And somehow, that's exactly why people love it, and that's exactly why majority of the reason of why they sell out every Saturday night when they're doing some kind of racing there. To understand Bowman Gray, you have to understand the drivers who built its legacy. Names like Glenn Wood, Junior Miller, Burt Myers, Tim Brown became local legends through their success here. And Burt Myers still runs there. And I don't know if Tim Brown does or not still, but I know Burt Myers does. And there's so much of a legend there that few teams have actually fielded cars specifically for Burt and Tim Brown to try to race their way in on the All-Star, or not All-Star race, but the Clash. I'm sorry if I said earlier that we've held the past 2 years we've held the All-Star race there. I meant we've held the Clash race there, the pre-race before Daytona and all that, the Clash. We've held that there the past 2 years. But either way, teams, because of Tim Brown and Burt Myers being legends there, have fielded cars for them to run that race specifically. Meanwhile, Tim Brown has captured more Bowman Gray championships than any driver in history, and Burt Myers became one of the faces of modern-day Bowman Gray racing. For many fans, these drivers are just as important as NASCAR superstars. At Bowman Gray, local heroes become legends. If there's one division that defines Bowman Gray, it's the modifieds. These powerful open-wheel stock cars have been the track's premier division for decades. They're fast, they're aggressive, and perfectly suited for this quarter-mile battleground. Watching modifieds here is unlike anything else that you will see in motorsports. You don't just simply pass somebody at Bowman Gray. Sometimes you have to move them. Again, in future reels that I've done or anything like that, when I've asked you guys, is aggressive racing acceptable or is aggressive rate, I can honestly tell you aggressive racing is acceptable at Bowman Gray, because sometimes there's no choice but to do it. If the guy's slower than you or he's cutting your nose off, you're going to get angry, you're going to get upset, and you're going to give him the fender. And the fans absolutely love it. They love that stuff. Again, that's why they sell out almost every weekend when they have racing there. That's why when people are like, yeah, NASCAR is great for Bowman because they're coming. Yes, they're great. But honestly, I don't think they need NASCAR every weekend to be something there, because the local stuff puts on shows as it is. They used to have this TV show that was based out of the racing there in Bowman Gray called The Madhouse. Even though Bowman Gray earned that nickname, they had a show that followed Burt Myers, Tim Brown, and other local open modified Whelen drivers that drove at Bowman Gray. And I actually liked that show, and I don't know why they canceled it, but they did. They just never filmed another season of it. For decades, many fans believed NASCAR's top series would never return to Bowman Gray. And in 2025, NASCAR brought the Cookout Clash to Bowman Gray Stadium, returning Cup Series competition to the venue for the first time in more than 50 years. And boy, did they sell it out. Like I said, it was in February, probably a cold night, but they sold the joint out. They even sold it out again this year, even though it took them, because of the weather, you might as well say about 3 to 4 days to get the race in. The event introduced a new generation of fans to one of racing's most historic venues. If you did not know about Bowman Gray and you were a NASCAR fan, after watching the Cookout Clash at Bowman, you knew about Bowman Gray and what it's capable of. And I think that's part of the reason why now people want the All-Star race there instead of where we had it at Dover. So, will it ever happen? Who knows? But we'll see. I would think it would make for a great All-Star race. It makes for a great Clash race. So, we'll see what happens. Chase Elliott dominated the inaugural Clash at Bowman Gray, but the bigger story was the track itself, proving that short track racing still matters. In a world filled with billion-dollar facilities and state-of-the-art speedway, Bowman Gray remains refreshingly different. This place isn't polished, it isn't perfect, it's loud, it's rough, it's unpredictable, and it's exactly why generations of fans keep coming back. Every Saturday night, families continue a tradition that stretches back nearly for 8 decades of racing action, and people coming to watch their local favorites race there. Like I said, they do everything there, from late models to the open wheels. Now we got Cup Series. They do a lot there. They sell the venue out. Bowman Gray Stadium isn't just a racetrack. It's a living piece of NASCAR history. It's where legends were made. It's where rivalries never die. And it's where the Madhouse continues to roar every Saturday night. So again, like I've said in other episodes that I've done, if we want places like this to stay relevant and keep going, we got to continue to come out and support every weekend. Every chance we get, we have to come support these facilities. And Bowman Gray shows where racing history is, and it shows by how they sell out the facility every weekend, whether Cup Series is there or not. They sell it out. So again, for us to keep learning and keep enjoying and preserving and living NASCAR history, we have to keep supporting it, and we have to keep the drive for it alive. Because again, I don't believe NASCAR is dying. I don't think NASCAR ever will. As long as we have this history, and as long as we have things like this, I don't think we'll ever see the sport die. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this trip down history lane again. Again, we took a trip to beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to see what we call the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium. And as we learned, it's still alive and roaring today as it ever was. So, with that being said, again, thank you guys for continuing to like, subscribe, and follow my stuff. Thank you for being part of the nation. The nation keeps growing every day because of you guys, not because of just me, but because of you guys. So, with that being said, I'm the boss man, CK. This is the CK Motorsports Full Throttle, and we just took a history trip down track history lane. And remember, we're always no all gas, no brakes, and we're always full throttle for Kyle. And I'll see y'all on the next one.